Well, never did I think that itch.io and Funko would really be used in the same sentence. They really have nothing to do with each other as companies. But that is exactly what happened in the latter part of last weekend as we were sliding into Sunday. People were sitting down, cozy, with a hot chocolate, starting to get the Sunday scaries. Itch.io, the very big indie website, was actually taken down all of a sudden. Yeah, it was completely nuked into oblivion. Nobody knew why. That is until itch.io took to Twitter or X and actually put the blame on none other than the makers of the Funko Pop figures that you've probably seen a bunch. Yeah, they tweeted, quote, "I kid you not, itch.io has been taken down by Funko of Funko Pop because they used some trash AI-powered brand protection software called Brand Shield that created some bogus phishing report to our registrar who ignored our response and just disabled the domain." So essentially, Itch, I guess, wasn't necessarily pointing the finger just directly at Funko, but they were actually pointing it at the quote-unquote AI-powered brand protection software that is Brand Shield, while also holding up another finger, probably the middle finger, to Funko. Yeah, they were saying that Brand Shield is basically something that Funko uses to detect other websites basically stealing their content or using their content, and they were basically alleging that this whole software is AI-powered, and that it basically created a false report, which was against itch.io, and then because of that, and because of the registrar allegedly overlooking, I guess, the complaint, yeah, Itch was completely just taken offline, never to see the light of day again, until thankfully just a few hours later. Yeah, it was not permanent, thankfully. It is back up, you can go on to it now. I gotta admit, I've never been on itch.io, I just looked on there. It actually is, I have to admit, it's a very cool website. I would have loved it as a kid, like, you know, using like the school computers and just trying to find like, you know, the online browser type games that you can find. I gotta say they're very cool for browser games. But now both Funko and Brand Shield have basically responded to this by saying that no, it is really not entirely their fault at all. So Funko actually hit back and basically said that yes, there is actually some truth to this whole thing. Basically, their Brand Shield software did detect that there was one page on itch.io that was imitating a Funko type of product, and so apparently they just issued a takedown on that specific page, that specific product, not the entire website. They then said that they are trying to reach out to itch.io and engage with them and kind of try to figure out really what happened, but that's kind of it. I mean, it was kind of a vague response. Like, it still doesn't answer, you know, how did we get from I'm gonna take down this one page on itch.io to the entire website gets taken down for quite a while. Yeah, there's some gap there that we're missing here. Like, it's still not exactly clear, you know, what happened, who did this, like, why did it get to the entire website getting taken down? Clearly it was not just one page that got stripped from the internet, from the platform. Clearly it was much more. So then Brand Shield jumped in and they kind of gave their take on this sort of Clue-styled whodunit type of mystery. So they said kind of the same as what Funko said. They said that, yeah, they do have an AI-driven platform and it did detect that there was one itch.io page that was in violation. So then they requested a takedown of that specific page, not the entire itch.io domain. Now here is the very important thing that they said, very interesting. They say, quote, "The temporary takedown of the website was a decision made by the service providers, not Brand Shield." And then they later said, "We encourage platforms to implement stronger self-regulation systems that prevent such issues from occurring." Now it looks like this statement was just made today. They sent that message to Eurogamer. So I believe that is the most recent take from these three different companies, and I have to say, it's very interesting to say that this whole takedown was allegedly from the service providers, not Brand Shield and not Funko. I assume then what they are pointing their finger at is the actual registrar of itch.io. Now that is something that they did mention in their very first tweet about this. They said that their registrar, which is called I Want My Name, that's actually the specific name of it. I believe it looks like it's based out of New Zealand. Just according to the Twitter page, I really don't know much more about that. But yeah, Itch put some of the blame on their registrar called I Want My Name because they said that they ignored their response, itch.io, itch.io's response to this takedown request, and then they just disabled the domain. So when you consider all of it, it actually looks like what is mostly here being alleged by Funko, Brand Shield, and even itch.io is that the actual culprit, now that we are at the very end of this mystery, the mask is now off, the Scooby-Doo gang has figured it out, and it looks like it is allegedly itch.io's registrar called I Want My Name. It does sound like they are the actual culprit behind this, and like I said, totally alleged, and it does sound like this was just a mistake. I have no reason to believe that this was actually intentional, but a very weird, very odd series of events that got us here and entangled two companies that you would never really think would have anything to do with each other. Very glad though that itch.io is back up. Hopefully they can avoid any problems like this in the future, and hopefully similar platforms can learn from this mistake. Hopefully no similar mistakes happen in the future with any other big platforms. A lot of money can be wasted just by the minutes and the hours that these big websites are offline.